and it broke both casts.
From shooting it?
Mhm.
Why? Like,
It broke them right here,
geez.
the
The recoil.
concussion, yeah, the recoil.
Sarah's, Gina is bringing your bid. I had it in my bag, I thought, but I threw it in my other personal bag. so
Shouldn't have put it up against my arm.
Well, but it's just a lot. I did just ask Sarah to print me off a couple things.
Okay. Want me to go grab them?
Please. Sure.
We're close enough. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Okay. Do I have a second to approve the minutes? All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Good.
Here's those quarterlies.
You got them. There you go. Take a look at that one first.
This is one of your bigger ones, isn't it, Haley?
Yeah. Like I said, I put the big plotter printers that we get the architectural size on the GIS budget.
Sure.
Do I have a motion to approve the auditor's quarterly report?
Yes, sir. Second.
All in favor of approving that report?
Aye.
Should almost combine that so you guys can see the income on the GIS stuff.
All of us
Yes,
initial?
on the backside though, but that's fine. That's where I fold it in three. And they do look at those every time they're here, the auditors, so
Okay.
all the different entities' quarterly reports, I have to provide them.
Good. Well, you know you get your money's worth then.
Definitely look at all that.
Let Rick look at it after you're done with the shares.
I don't have Ron when he comes over here. Can you please tell him that I need to speak with him
Sure.
before he leaves the building?
Yeah, I don't know if it's him or John that's actually coming for that stuff, but somebody will be here. Thanks, Courtney. You want the mail key while you're out? It's my car's on.
Morning, Sheriff.
Little-
You have one piece?
Okay, you said your car is unlocked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll grab it.
Thank you.
Surgery?
Yep.
Did you get a knee fixed?
No, they did, they burned out the nerves.
Oh,
And before you leave,
that doesn't sound good either.
as soon as I'm done, they're not presenting right away, right? Just do it for like 5 minutes.
I'd have to look at
I have you on at 10, Ron.
10?
So, I can wait for
Yeah.
5 minutes. No, because my knee replacement still isn't right, so we just burn off the nerve ending, so we pretend like it doesn't hurt.
Doesn't work.
Well, it hurts all the time, and it's inflamed all the time, and it's not right, but because I haven't had it for 2 years, they won't do a second opinion. So they just burn off the nerve ending, so we can pretend like it's
I
okay.
told you how my mom had 2 down.
So what happens if they put another one? Can they hook your nerves back up?
They actually grow back.
Okay.
So they have to do it every 6 to 9 months because the nerves go back.
That sounds like a gas plant.
Yeah, and it's,
But I don't like that idea.
and it's very unpleasant,
I
because
don't
you
like
can
it.
feel them like burning the nerves.
I don't like going to the dentist, so I'd be out on that one.
Get nitrous, it makes the dentist so much better.
But you look at that for a while, and when you get done, you can hand that to Rick so he can study it. But we'll continue on
Okay.
with Mona's.
Yeah.
Open your bid now, Mona.
Bid, singular.
One.
I
So
sent
the
it
one
out,
I got.
I sent it out to multiples.
You got your letter opener.
I did. I sent it out to the same 3 that we had sent it out to prior, so that way it opened it up to, you know, everybody. I sent out an email a week before they were due, like a reminder email. So I gave everybody like a month, had talked directly to them, and they said, yep. Sent a reminder email a week before they were due, only heard back from one of them, didn't hear back from the other 2, and then when I followed up with her, she had only received 1, and that was from, I-
How's your cars coming?
Yeah, did you get your truck back?
Oh, we got the trucks. They've got stripes on them. And we're still waiting on equipment. Time's getting close now, so we're about 2 weeks out. They're coming.
Did you ask for bids, a bid or bids for new vehicles, or you just used?
New and used. So I gave them this is, I don't remember what the parameters were, but basically, this was your max amount, this was your max amount of miles that could be on the car, this is the kind of car, and then the tax rate.
For your update, I'll just give you what they sent. and
I
I'll
was gonna
let
say,
you guys
I have
look
no
at
idea
it.
what they said,
Yeah.
so.
2020 Jeep Renegade,
Mhm,
all-wheel drive,
mhm,
used 6,137 miles, so it's like new,
mhm.
but the price come into 24,999.
That's because they had a $25,000 max.
There, look at it.
And I also, I mean, unfortunately, it's slim pickings vehicle wise, but yeah, coming in a dollar under doesn't surprise me.
Maybe you should have told them 20,000.
Well, I went with the number May gave me, so I was just like, so. But I think that was listed on his, I think I got it written down, like that was what was actually listed on mine,
Thank you.
if I remember correctly.
Well, they want to sell it, I guess. I guess.
That's actually, so it's listed online. I have it right here as 25,531. So.
How do you think, well,
It says when it gets the mileage on the next page or something.
okay, I haven't turned that off there.
And I can tell you.
No, it's right here.
25 something.
Yeah, it says 21 and 29.
Mhm.
That's not all bad.
That's what I personally own.
And it's slim pickings, sure. So, and that will be, I mean, her and I will kind of figure out if because I know one of them will stay here, and then one of them will be, you know, kind of living at that, and then if she has to go wherever, she'll pick one up in Independence, otherwise if she's going south, she'll directly from here, so.
Was there a reason you asked for all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive?
All-wheel drive just simply because winter, because she's going to be traveling all over the place too, even in the winter. So that was fun.
I don't have a clue how it works, so.
You just gotta talk.
That was one of the things, like when May and I had,
Yeah.
when May and I had talked about it, we had gone back and forth between like a car or something else all-wheel drive, since we already had something. And she said, what, you know, kind of winter
But
travel and
let's
all.
just come back and show us that it's not here.
Do both all-wheel drive, so that way, when if you guys are having to go in opposite directions, you both have the
Sure.
ability to
I
do
think when
so.
it comes, you just hit the green and talk.
We have a big
I
choice
think I
here.
bumped it. so-
And the region is reimbursing this.
That's Ben's fancy deal.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, make a motion that we approve the purchase.
And what was the amount to make you think?
24,999.
Okay.
And so when I get the invoice and all of that stuff back from him, it'll have the same thing, as everything else that gets reimbursed, that needs to be reimbursed every year.
Okay, yeah, and I do the budget amendment today, so I'll do those spending authority, and then we pay next week, so. we get that Before, we need to pick it up ahead of time.
Benton County Supervisors.
I'm gonna email him
Yeah,
right away and just
Jeff,
say.
Jeff Wolf's my name calling. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Figure out what we do from there.
Okay. I'm calling in regards to your hard surface dust control spots.
Okay, where you at and whereabouts in the county?
Okay. You go, you know where the 150 and Walker corner is?
Okay,
All right, go west on that gravel road. Over to where you cross the interstate.
okay,
And I called in and complained about that, and the young gal told me that, I says, nobody's touched that thing in probably 8 years. And she called me back, and she says, I looked that up. She says, they get an application each year for that. And I said, okay. I said, what's that involved? And she said, they just got to get an application in order to maintain it. And I told her, I says, there's nobody maintained that dust control spot in the 8 years that I've been down here. And that's what I'm calling to complain about is, you know, I would think they should have to do something besides just leave that road like it is. It's a disaster, and it's wore out.
what's the address? You got a street address on it? We can send one of the guys out from secondary roads to look at it, or one of us supervisors.
What's the,
Yeah,
what section
I
on
would
that road?
rather you supervisors about
Is
that
on-
because I don't have any luck.
I'm
Okay.
familiar with that road.
Okay,
Okay, so,
It's a Todd Wiley's big hog setup. It's right there across.
right. So if I may, this is Rick Farmer. So as it crosses the interstate, are you talking on the west side of the interstate?
No, it's on the east side before you get to crossing.
Okay, sure.
So it's up,
Wiley's dust control is that, and there's two more people on that road west further that have the same thing, but they take care of it. They're out there working on theirs. And this here's never been touched.
this is on
And
51st Street?
I've called and complained and have got absolutely zero with anybody. And so I thought, well, hell, I'll try the supervisors.
Sure. Yeah.
They should have to do something. That's just not right.
So it's too dusty is what you're stating? And that,
It's rough. I don't care
Oh,
about it.
okay, all right, you were talking about dust control, so trying to get it out. Yeah. No, that road is very rough road, I'll agree with that. Yes. Okay.
Well, the road, the maintainer guy, I've called him bitch about him too ever since he took over after his father-in-law. And he's finally putting some effort into it now. And, I was told that is not his dust control spot. He stops at the four corners before he gets to it.
Okay.
And they said, well, it's funny, our maintainer man has never complained. And I said, well, that's a maintainer man that don't give a damn about his territory. He's just there for the money. Because I said, if he really cared about his roads, he'd be complaining.
Okay.
So,
No, it is a rough spot, it's very low right there as well.
well, no, this is the dust control spot I'm talking. Clear up.
Oh, okay.
All
Alright.
Well, the road isn't good either, but
Yeah, in front of those two houses.
That you're talking about.
you got it.
Yeah, okay. Alright.
Yeah, and she said that's all I gotta do is make an application or something each year. And that's not right. In Buchanan County, they won't even let us keep them over a year. They tear them up in the fall if you do something like that.
Sure.
And, you know, like I said, those other two people down there, they at least put some effort into it, try to keep their truck holes out, but the wearing surface is gone, and it's got holes in it, and somebody did take a blade out there and try to get a little loose material off the side. Well, it's clean rock, but that's not gonna stay in them truck holes.
Correct. Yeah. And that area's been seal coated, if you will, for so many years, it's hard to break up. And once those holes get in, about the only thing you can do is throw some patch material in them. And so, yeah. Because gravel won't stay in.
That spot is so wore out that somebody with a scare or fire or stinger should have no problem ripping that road up on Wednesday.
Yep.
Okay, well, we'll visit with Myron regarding this, because I know right where you're talking.
Okay, you're talking the engineer, he won't do nothing. That guy won't do a thing. All I've ever got from him is nothing.
Oh, okay, all right, let's we're probably here, so let's try not to bad mouth anybody, okay? So, all right. All right.
I'm just telling the truth, guys.
Okay.
If the truth hurts, so be it, you know?
All right. Well, I will get it with you because that's
The order we go in.
okay.
We'll be done then. Thank you.
Well, all right, bye-bye.
Bye. Gotta go.
I don't think any of us are gonna grab a
Scare fire and go out there.
Where is that, 51st Street?
where Todd Wiley lives. Okay, this is the east-west road where it crosses over the interstate, all right? And there's two houses that sit on the north side, and he's right, I mean, that has been seal coated or oiled so many times, it is just thick. And the only way you're gonna get it broke up is to go out there and you gotta have,
Tear it up and.
well, you gotta have a machine like that asphalt that they're grinding off on 150. And I don't think the county's got anything like that, so, yeah.
You wanna look into it?
I'll talk to Myron, but again, about the only thing you can do is throw some cold patch in it. And I don't know that the county goes out and does cold patch on any roads. So, all they're really gonna do is throw gravel in it, and it will not stay. It will not, so,
Okay.
yeah, I'll have to visit with him.
Sorry to get sidetracked there, Mona.
Okay.
If I remember right, we got a motion.
Yeah,
And I think
we voted on it,
Yep.
We did?
yeah.
Okay.
Now we're ready for the sheriff's report.
Okay, sheriff's report?
I'll make a motion we approve it, the quarterly report.
Second.
All in favor of approving the sheriff's report?
Aye.
No lease snow.
All right, so me and Ron are still waiting for Sheriff will be back. So two things that I'm here for. One is Santa in the courthouse. If we can have the Thursday before Thanksgiving. There'll be the holiday light parade, veterans will do all of that. And then they're gonna come, they usually come in, the kids can come in and sit down at Santa's lap. Is that a possibility?
It's at the 18th, right?
Yeah, the Thursday before.
So it'll be November 18th.
And what time?
Good question, that has not been set yet.
I think the grade used to be at 6, wasn't it, maybe?
That sounds about right, and so then it'll be after the parade, so.
So how do we handle that, guys?
Usually one of us, other elected officials, sticks around for her, or we used to in the past for them, because they do come in the courthouse. We try to keep them on the first floor, because of the doors and stuff being locked.
Right.
And lights. So between Melinda, Alexa, and I'm sure we can make sure somebody's available. Unless one of you two or three wanted to do it. See Santa.
If you girls can't do it, I can do it.
So that's why I told her, between one of us with keys and lights, and we can.
And it's no issues coming in, being able to come in, right?
Yep.
Did that go to the?
They have to still come in that same door. We won't have a security officer there probably, but that's usually where we'll keep the traffic is down there. Well, Lexi usually puts up a woodland tree in the first floor. If that changes, I don't know if we'll have the bigger tree up by then, up on the second floor, so.
Okay, but they'll still walk through the.
Yep,
West door.
West door.
Metal detector?
Yes, yes, no.
Yep, that's the only main entrance for the public right now, so.
Okay. All right.
And I guess we'd have to make that subject to any, if there's any future COVID mandates that come down,
Mhm.
Hope there isn't, but
Do you have to have a mask at the, okay.
We recommended if they're not vaccinated to wear masks coming in.
Okay. Right. So that would hold true for that.
Yeah, and there's signs too for that.
All right.
I don't think the little kids.
Do I need to
I'm
fill out
sure
a
they're
paperwork
not.
or anything for that?
I can get you that for the courthouse grounds one, if you want.
Okay. The courthouse grounds one?
Yep, it's the same one
interior.
as for the courthouse inside,
Okay.
but that's kind of like a little different since one of us will be there as well.
Okay. So that's not a problem then?
I ain't got no
I
problem
don't
with
have
it.
a problem with
You
it.
have to, due to,
COVID restrictions,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
that may be, but yeah, I don't see a problem. We've done it so many years in the past.
Mhm.
You would get with Haley when you do the paperwork for a time.
Okay.
I'll make the motion that we allow it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Then, the other thing, we had some time to talk about lights on the courthouse.
Yep.
I brought in some examples of some things if you want. Do you want me to pass those to you or?
Because I think, didn't Rick talk to you as well?
Yes, he
'Cause
did.
I don't think those
The hangers,
clips are not up there.
yep.
anymore.
Right, that's what I have heard that as well. Do you want me to?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
So those would all have to be replaced. So I've got a couple of options here. So the first page is options that would take hangers. It would have to be like on the mortar. And those would have to be in place with the pointing and this and that is done. The other option is like if you just lined the interior windows on the tower and then did like a projection, like there's some photos there of what some projections would be like. And then that would just be out in the lawn area and would project onto the courthouse. So there are options. The last page has some costs. This is with Temple, or Temple
Is that where the city gets theirs?
Display. Yeah, that's where they've gotten the rights in the past, the snowflakes.
Did you bring your laser or anything with you? by
No,
chance?
I didn't.
So
I
how
forgot
soon will
all
they
about
need to
it.
know all that? To get probably sooner the better.
Sooner the better, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if we can work towards this year, that would be awesome.
And have you talked with the light department where they be wanting you to come use their bucket truck then to help hang?
I have not talked to them about that.
Because I don't think we own one of those, do we?
Nope. See, I was wondering about, my personal opinion. I was told
Mhm.
that in the past, where it got deleted is because the bucket truck was so heavy, the ground wasn't froze and went across the sidewalks and they got broke.
Right, I've heard that as well.
So, my opinion, I can't speak for anybody that's got a lift, but a lift is a lot lighter
Okay,
than, like Randy Jensen's got one, you know, he's got 4 or 5 of them, as far as that goes, but I'm sure there is other people in Benton here,
right.
and you know,
All right, so you would recommend a lift, which that makes
Yep.
perfect sense.
I mean, the way this year is going, I don't foresee the ground being froze, you know, by Thanksgiving,
Right,
where it'll hold the truck up.
right. The, one other thing that I checked into, some places leave the lights up all year, so it wouldn't have to be, you just unplug them and you don't have them on. And they said that the company said they will stand the elements and be out all year round.
Does it shorten the lifespan of those?
They didn't say, they just talked about the number of hours lit, so, which is like.
Some warehouses leave them on all the time, it seems like when you're driving, you can.
Which is kind of nice. Would you like that too? So, I would be game to leave them on all year round, but, that's just an option, because I know, like, is it city that would put the lights on the building? Or?
I guess I don't know, like, you know, I don't know who originally did in the past,
Mhm.
like, went up there, but I just remember the city guys being out there, like, with the front trees and.
Mhm. So, as long as we had a lift. that would be-
That's my opinion.
Those
What
bucket,
These
about-
guys haven't done anything.
Right,
those bucket trucks are heavy. We got one, and I mean, they're heavy.
yeah. So, that would probably not be an answer, at least for this year, with it being so warm. What if it had, everything had frozen, the ground had frozen, and it was firm, are you even willing to have anchors put on the courthouse?
Well, I was gonna mention that, you know, the anchors going in,
Mhm.
it'd almost be nice if, and I'm gonna pick on Jansen's because they had done a lot of work here. You know, if we'd contract with them so it's done correctly and
It
And
doesn't hurt their
permanently.
material up there.
sorry.
It doesn't hurt their material and stuff.
Exactly,
I don't,
exactly. You know,
there's a lot of copper out there now, I don't know if it was before.
yeah. So that would be my recommendation. And then when Jansen's are here, picking on Randy, don't know if he'd even be interested, but, you know, and we'd have to compensate. Maybe that's time that if they put anchors in, that they put the lights up as well at the same time. I don't even know if they would do it, don't have a clue, timing wise, et cetera, but I think they're, you know, community minded as well,
Mhm.
so.
can I contact Randy? And I was starting to think, I know another guy north of it here's got a brand new lift,
Okay.
you know, but then again, this ain't his cup of tea. This is, I agree with Rick, this is more Randy's style. He knows where to drill and where not to drill, of course.
Do you still have his phone number?
Yes, I do.
Would you call him? Well, if he's interested, then she'll know, I guess.
Okay.
I'd have to say I might
That's
have
Randy
it.
Jansen, was
Yeah.
making note as well.
Well, that's something,
Did he do the tuck pointing, or?
he did.
Okay.
They did waterproofing, was the most recent project. he did.
Okay.
You know, maybe the best thing would be is to get a hold of him and ask him what the cost would be to do this. And
You want me to call him right now?
Probably I would, just see if he's even interested.
I don't care.
That
I
way.
mean, what else is on the agenda that we're gonna get behind, 9:30?
9:30 is our
Budget.
budget hearing amendment, but
Got 15 minutes for that.
Allowed?
yeah.
9:45 we got.
Yeah.
Randy, it's Tracy Seaman. How are you doing today?
Melody?
Hey, I
Can you
got
get a cost estimate?
I got a question for you right
Operating
now. We
lines.
got a gal here, Melanie Snow, up here to
As
Benton.
far as how much, like monthly.
She would like to put lights on the courthouse up high.
Because I think that was one of the,
They do have solar ones. as
Christmas
well.
lights, Christmas lights.
Those will be more expensive.
Okay.
initial.
Well, I suggested that I would just as soon have you involved with it. 'Cause you know where to put the anchors in to hold the lights up.
And it probably depends on how many-
Yes. Yeah, yes, yes. Okay. Okay. The next question is, are you interested in? Yes. You're with the city?
Been unlimited.
Benton Unlimited. I would say you'd probably want it done right around Thanksgiving,
No, without, because the
Before?
thing is before, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Prior
I mean,
to.
prior to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
They do
The
the
week
lighting
before.
downtown. The week before.
Yes, prior, they want it done before Thanksgiving.
So the week of the.
Yes, I can give, yep. That's fine, I can text you her number so you guys can get together. You know? Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, she is. No, we're at a supervisor's meeting right now, and she's sitting next to him. Okay. 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 All right, well, that sounds good, Randy. All right, thanks, buddy. Bye. He wants your number.
Okay,
You don't wanna say it out loud, so,
I'll just up at you.
got it.
I can email you.
Do you have it on your emails from your office number? I'll just give you that one. Yep.
Okay.
That would be my text number.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can do that, just email it and then I'll give it to you.
He said, attach it to the metal up there, not the stone. And it was,
See, that's why
it was
attached
attached,
to the,
it was attached to the stone years past,
yeah.
and that's what was wrong.
Then as far as the cost for the electricity, I presume the county would be paying that, is what you're looking for. What about the cost for the lighting?
I'm gonna ask if that's available.
That's what you're asking as well.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And this is 1789 was an estimate based off of some rough
Right,
projections.
yeah, yeah. And it would be cheaper if we did the projected lights and not the actual lights on, like up and down the corners of the building. Because the projectors seem to be less expensive than doing all that other work on the outside of the building. I don't know. It's a matter of whether you want to do historical, which is what we've done in the past, or you want to try something different.
Well, I think there's some security lighting there and that would interfere.
Oh,
You know, some of your street lighting would also interfere, and, you know, I think projection is probably gonna be a tough row to hoe,
okay.
personal thoughts.
I mean, those, like, in those examples, those have streetlights and stuff around those, so I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just trying to come up with another option, because I knew that the,
Mhm.
tuck one had been done.
Well, I think if it's done, you know, properly, I think would be good.
Okay.
So, yeah. I think you and Randy get together and,
Yeah.
because that's gonna be the third thing, is gonna be the cost involved for installation.
All right. So I just need to find out how much it's gonna run per month.
Let's get those definite numbers, you know. I don't think we're talking anything earth shattering here. They're LED lights, they're gonna be inexpensive to operate. Purchasing the lights is gonna be a one-time expense for 10 years or whatever. And so when you break it down, it's pretty reasonable, you know, and,
This is the monthly cost.
correct. So, anyway,
Okay.
I don't see big hurdles.
Okay.
Okay,
Sure
do you?
No, I don't either.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I
it
will,
was a tradition for years and years and years that this was done,
right,
so, yeah.
okay, perfect. I will get that information and contact Randy, and were you just gonna have him text me then?
Yeah.
I would say the sooner the better, because you're gonna take some order time, some lag time here, aren't you?
Yeah.
What's the availability?
I'm gonna find that out.
Well, if you're talking 6 months, it's like,
Well,
yeah, well, then that's for
yeah.
next year.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and I don't know.
I know. What container ship they're setting on.
Right. Exactly, so, all right.
Do you want these back, Melody?
If you don't want them, I will take them, but.
Oh, that's fine. We'll hang on.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
I got you his phone number.
All right, we need to probably open the public hearing for
Yep.
I don't see anybody here to oppose or anything, but
Okay.
we'll talk about what I'm putting in.
Melanie? I got his number, I'm gonna keep that way.
Awesome.
He'll
Thank
have
you.
yours and,
In case he forgets to do it.
yep.
Thanks.
All right. All right. We'll open up the budget amendment public hearing.
Do you need a motion to do that?
No, but just basically you speak until you're opening it up, and
You opened it?
you're opening it to public comments. If anybody got any calls ahead of time, did you guys receive anything?
Didn't get any
No.
calls? Did you
I
get
did
anything in
not.
writing?
I tried to explain it pretty well in the notice of what that ARP money and stuff was. So the departments that we're amending, I'll go over them a little bit with you. So conservation, Shelby had some grants that she was getting through, so we're gonna bump up her spending authority to offset some of those. But it looks to me like that Hart property is almost all paid for, that land, isn't it? So,
It's supposed to be settled by October.
yeah. So hers is pretty minimal on,
It's October.
yeah, well, once they get some more spending authority. So you knew about hers. I had to do some in the HR department to finish, because you know how we move money around to get us started. But she needed more spending authority for salary and some of her withholdings and stuff. So I'll take care of the rest of that. Transportation, Dean needed some for, or they get new iPad things in the
Yes.
buses. He needed a little bit more for training, so I have all those. Maintenance, for some tools, and the central air system. I talked to you about that too, a little bit. So their tools, they're putting in an estimated 3,000 more, and the air system, 11,500. Mental health amendment is that car we just purchased, and then the salary for the new behavioral specialist. The other departments we went through, obviously I had some for the ARP, so I put a lot of that in just the admin side of things, and we'll do the line items a little bit later as we start spending or how we're gonna do that. Because Alexa and I are gonna do those scanning of documents. The website, if we do the new website, get that up to date. So I'm kinda like, I have it in the amendment for those service areas, but some of the breakdowns by line items is gonna be kinda as I go, because we don't know yet for departments, and I've talked to the auditors on that. The GIS for that website upgrade, Ben needed a little more in that, 11,000 he estimated. Let's see, I was gonna ask you guys, cause this just come up for some election supplies for when we go to the polls with the ballots. There's another bag we can get for them instead of those other things. And then they can pull them and we can put more seals on them to make them more secure going back and forth. So they're like a little, almost looks like a little carry-on suitcase. I was hoping to get one per precinct, and that was about 4,000 for all that. So if you guys are okay with that, I'm gonna bump my spending in that portion as well. And then we had the forfeiture for Ron. I had to put in spending authority, which we normally do. It was just missed at the budget time, so. What else do I have? Pretty much, like I said, the remainder of it will be in that ARP fund we created, the 0004. So. And hopefully I have enough cushion to get us through this year that if something were to come up, if they come in and ask for your approval, we can finagle between them.
What about the courthouse clock? Is that gonna have to,
He had spending authority in that line item, so
Okay.
like I said, we're gonna have enough cushion, I think, that we could
okay,
borrow from one service area to another if we have to. So hopefully we don't have to do another official amendment.
sure,
But,
okay.
so I don't, if anybody else has any comments or I haven't got any.
Nope,
I mean, those were the big ticket items other than the tower stuff, so.
sure.
And then if you guys wanted to see the notices, I have the proof of pubs, so we did everything proper. So it's up to you, what you want to pass on. Here's what the overall.
Yep, I seen the notices.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So those are what I'm describing as the service areas, public safety. So like Ron, there's different departments. So we can always borrow in between those. So
Good.
I'm pretty confident we're covered, but.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's not changing the levies by any means, it's just giving spending authority.
Okay,
So you need a motion to close, no, we didn't even have a motion,
No.
so we just need to
To end
close
the
it.
public hearing and then a
Public hearing
motion
is
to approve the
closed.
budget.
There we go.
okay. Done deal?
And this is by resolution, the amendment will be.
Okay.
It doesn't hardly seem like October, but we gotta start on budgets quickly.
Yes, I know. Don't remind me. Just finishing up this fiscal audit.
Yeah.
I never have downtime, really. So. Motion to approve
What's that?
it. Did you make an emotion to approve it?
Do we need a motion?
Yes, it's by resolution.
Okay,
It's gone
yes, I'll
now.
make that
They were
motion.
fixing it real quick.
Second,
And then the
A
resolution.
invoice needed.
Deershank, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Good morning.
Hello, young lady. Thank you.
For your ears ringing, we talked about the budget amendment.
Oh. You are not. That.
Thank you.
And then here's copies for you.
I'm allowed to start.
Go right ahead.
Okay,
So, I'm gonna start with the wellness update, just because it's quicker. So they weren't able to get me the most updated numbers, but as of, I think it was Thursday of last week, we're 2 people away from being able to get a 1% discount for the online assessment. Myself and Lori from the Wellness Committee have been calling people, putting stuff on pay stubs, emailing. We quite honestly have some people who literally just refuse and say no. I've also talked to a couple of managers. We have a couple of departments who are leading the charge for their employees not doing it, and it's not the department head's fault, but they aren't participating. And I spoke with the department head for Secondary Road, and I just said, hey, do you have any idea like why you think your guys, some of your employees aren't participating? Well, there's some misnomers, I think, about how the information is being used. So I tried to emphasize that in my most recent communications that, there's some worry that they're gonna have to do sleep studies, get sleep machines, all this weird stuff. I know, I know. Things that we would never do. So those are some things moving forward that we'll have to work work on addressing, and then just keep it on and then we're quite a ways away from getting anything on the physical part of it. As of the last numbers I got, we are 33 people away from even being able to get a 1% discount on the physical part of it. I will say their numbers, in my opinion, are a little bit unobtainable in terms of the top number. There's a very large city in Lynn County who they charge almost double for the premiums in their city, and they get about a 70% participation rate. Our max discount is an 80% participation. Yeah, so it's quite high if you really look at the numbers. And then it's a whole big thing, but we're working on it, trying to get it. We are probably going to at least get the 1% premium, which I think is better than nothing at this point. But we're just going to have to keep working to work on the physicals and figure out, other ways to either entice and or force people to.
Did they say how many people we were away for that one?
Well, here's part of the problem. There's 7 to 10 days out on physical entry because they're so busy right now. So the numbers for the physical aren't probably going to be up to date. And she said she couldn't run it yesterday or today. I don't know if their system is updating or what. So we were at 30. So to get a 1% discount, we need to get to 63 people. And it's really crazy. It's something we can address kind of later on, the benefits and cost, and I need to do some more numbers on this, but it's a lot for people to meet, and that's a really high percentage to give the top quote-unquote discount of 80%. That's a lot. So it's something we'll just have to discuss, later on and figure out the right avenue for that, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up where we were with that. So any questions on that before we move on?
This is the form,
Correct.
So
Yes.
Mercy One
Yep.
physical
correct.
form.
Yep. And the
Physician.
other, and like you can do it and you can send it right to them yourself, or you can have your doctor send it off. So I did mine. I sent it myself because I don't trust my doctor's office to necessarily get stuff. I didn't give you a copy of that, Tracy. I'm thinking did you have a copy?
It was in their pay stub, so.
Oh, yes, so that was in the pay stubs, and I do have copies in my office if anybody needs them. But it's just a lot to ask, and I know even in my previous role, they have since enabled you basically pay $40 to $45 more a month for your premiums, and I don't think they are planning on thinking they're gonna even get maybe 70% would be pretty high, and that's with, some extra incentives. It's just people think we're gonna use the information, people think we're gonna find out that they're in bad health and fire them, and there's just some weird, I've heard it all, to be quite honest with you, not all of that specifically here, but I imagine it would be a similar thought process, and like I said, I did talk to the department head. Lori did talk to a couple employees and said, well, hey, would you consider doing a physical? And they're like, well, is there a blood draw? And she said, well, yeah, and they go, well, no. Yeah, so I'm telling you, there's all kinds of reasons. We can't really understand all the reasons why people do or don't do stuff. I personally, it's extra money. I know the information's not being used, we don't see anything, but it's just continuing to educate about that, so.
And then I think they dispersed that in November.
That sounds right, yeah, it said after it closed, which is, the deadline's 10/31, so that makes sense that that would be the case.
Question,
Yeah,
Get my phone filled in.
if they're behind on getting this information, if you go in and get this physical, let's say the last week of October,
I think
Are
as
they
long as
gonna
it's
get it in?
predated.
yeah, it would just be when it was dated, so you would, that's why, if you go get a physical on 10/31, I don't know what day of the week that is, but if you went and got a physical on 10/31, if it were me, I would personally take the form back and scan it off myself, so that I've got proof that I did it. I don't know if I would personally trust my doctor's office to immediately fax it off that day, kind of a thing. But I assume that the payment, I'm not as familiar with the payments, but my assumption would be is the payments towards the end of November, because they're gonna have a lag time where they're catching up on that last, push. I mean, I'm sure they've experienced this every single year where there's a big push at the end. People seem to like to wait till the last minute. So I'm sure there's like a delay, but it would just be when it was received by them. So you would just wanna make sure they get it on or before 10/31. So Sheriff John, get on it.
Are we lacking?
Sheriff's office is lacking, yes.
All right then.
we don't trust the government.
And a couple of your people are the ones who don't want the blood draws for whatever reason. I'm not gonna lie, it made me kinda laugh a little bit, so.
Then I've heard some are missing because we're not doing our annual meeting too, where we've done some of that.
Well, but you still would have to get the other pieces of it,
Right.
the cholesterol, the nicotine screening, the whatever part of it, so. It's not too complicated to get, I don't think. But anyways. Yes, the blood draw ones, you can be proud they were your office.
Seems like every time I go, they drop blood.
Yeah, yeah,
No big deal.
anyways. Anything else on that? So we're trying. I'll go on to the task, which I apparently didn't bring my letter, but it's not a big deal, I know what it is. The single page letter there. So our contract with our flexible spending vendor is up this year. That vendor is Task. We have been in a 3-year contract with them. There's been some issues with some billing and some other things. I've currently been working through that with the auditor's office. I think I got a handle on it. I want to, with guidance from Katie, we want to do a 1-year, not a 3-year. We're going to make them do a 1-year extension. We're just streamlining some things and doing some stuff on the back end to make sure we can make the billing work better. In terms of the employee experience, they're the best that there is. If we didn't use this vendor, then we probably wouldn't use a vendor with like the card, because they don't work, they audit everything you do. There's just, in talking to Katie, basically there's just issues with every other vendor. So we want to do a 1-year contract extension with them and see if I can get some stuff continued to be ironed out with the billing side of it, so. And then there are, of course, because COVID messes up everything, there are some weird COVID rules that have been messing up some of the billing and who gets to carry over and some things behind the scenes that, that we weren't aware of previously. So anyways. So with that, I was just gonna ask, I think I could just ask for signature authority if you guys approve, if you're okay with the 1-year contract, if I could just have signature authority to sign that and submit that, so. And if you have questions. And the price didn't change, I don't know, it's like $4 a member, whatever the price is, it didn't change. So the price is the same, it's just I wanna do a 1-year trial run working with Katie from Group Benefit Partners to streamline some of the back end stuff.
I don't have a problem with that. Do you need formal action taken? on that?
It probably would work better that way, just so then I
All right,
feel
then
comfortable
I'll
with it.
make a motion that we
authorize.
do a 1-year contract on that, what is that?
Task, flexible
Task.
spending.
Task flexible spending.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, perfect. So the next one is gonna take maybe just a little longer, maybe not. So some of this transpired before my arrival here.
But if you guys would remember, you worked, I think, with the auditor's office and with Katie, at the beginning of this year, we were having issues with our partial self-fund claim processing through Secure Benefits. They weren't processing correctly, members were getting checks themselves, I don't know if this is ringing a bell, but it was quite a big debacle. Well, basically, it's at the point now where we need to decide if we're gonna stay where we are or if we're gonna change to the new vendor. I'm just gonna start with the price, because it is more expensive. However, then I'll tell you the benefits of why it would be better to switch, and I have talked through all of this with group benefit partners. So I'll just lay out the fees, or the price difference, and then we'll lay out the why. So there would be a $1,350 one-time fee to do this transition, and what that's going to pay for is essentially the new vendor, Auxient, would get all of the year-end claims, all of the lagging claims, all of the resubmitted claims, basically anything left for 2021, and process it in their system. They would also get reports and all of the things from Secure Benefits for 2021 and upload that, so that way there's not any, like, they know what was paid in 2021, so a doctor doesn't try to rebill for something that was already paid. They have all of that information. So that's the one-time fee. That's just to make a smooth transition. The employees won't even know that there's a change happening. Katie's done this with some other vendors who switched, and it works perfectly. So that's the one-time fee. You'll see on the third page too, I crossed out number 3. Katie had tried to scratch it out. It does list some additional fees there. We don't have to pay those, but I couldn't get it to print with the line through it. It kept taking the line out, so I marked it for you, but that's not applicable. The other part of it, the cost difference is about $5,280 a year, which equates to about $440 a month. But basically what we're getting with that, Auxient has 0 issues working with Walmart. They have a lot of staff, they have a lot of IT people. Essentially, Walmart can throw anything, everything in a kitchen sink at Auxient, and they can change their processes so that there isn't an issue and a delay like there was, I believe it was earlier this year with the changeover. With Secure Benefits, who we're using now, if we stay with them, then you guys are gonna have to authorize that employees are gonna still get payments. I actually had someone tell me this morning, pretty much every time they go to the doctor, they get a check from Secure Benefits, and then they have to turn around and pay the vendor. That's essentially with Auxient, non-existent. Every claim, every time will be paid timely and to the vendor directly. They pay claims, so, and Katie gives a ton of credit to Secure Benefits for what they have available to them. But they have one staff member processing all of these claims, trying to keep up on all these codes, all these changes. They don't quite have the IT infrastructure, all of that stuff. We basically would have a worry-free one-stop shop with Auxient as opposed to Secure Benefits. The other thing that was really awesome about Auxient, and I actually ironically was talking to somebody about this morning, they said, well, I keep all these papers and I keep this and I write that, I notate that this goes together and this claims this, whatever. This system, you can see every step of your claim, everything that was billed, everything that was paid initially, everything that's paid by this fund. If employees so choose, they can go online and they can monitor their claims. And Katie did say too, if there's claim issues or discrepancies that she would be working on, they can get in the system for the employee and go, oh, yep, this was, this is this way because your doctor billed. They can figure out the solutions a lot easier versus now they have to submit for paper reports from Secure Benefits. Do you guys have questions? I mean, I kind of rambled a lot, but I'm trying to think if there was anything else.
Give me the total dollar amount.
Difference?
Change in Secure Benefits.
$5,280 a year, which equates to $440 a month. I already did the math. And then per person right now, we pay $450 a member. It would go up to $850 a member. But basically what we're paying for is the technology, the faster claims processing. Employees will never, or members I should say, will never get checks sent to their home. It's just gonna be a lot smoother, and I asked, I just flat out asked Katie, hey, what would you do? This is what the majority of people having this issue do, they switch, because
it's a little, it's more money, but in her opinion, it's worth every cent because you're just getting better technology and knowledge, staffing. There's, from what I understand, been some lag on paying claims through secure benefits. Well, that's partially because of the whole one staff member as opposed to entire teams of people who can get in there and do stuff.
So the extra funds are budgeted? How does this
It
work?
comes out of our insurance fund, and there's a
Okay.
balance in there.
So, I mean, it's whether or not we want employees to continue to get checks and to have, I mean, to me, that's an extra unnecessary step. We should be paying vendors directly, but basically it's because of the amount of vendors Benton County has, and they just can't keep up with all the changes, the new, people come into town, start a new practice, retire, whatever. Basically, secure benefits just can't keep up with that.
1-year contract then?
I don't think, I don't think there is a year. It would be, we would use until we decided we, wanted to try something else. I can't imagine we would, I trust Katie. I've gotten to know Katie a little bit from Group Benefit Partners. I trust her opinion on it, and it sounds like we aren't gonna want it. I mean, it's gonna be, as long as our plan stays how it is now, they're gonna be the best option we have to do that second part of the claims process, the self-fund, so.
This is part of it here, which it says assumes it starts the
Yep.
first of the year.
Yep, correct.
And there's not a
No.
date on it.
No, so it would be, if we decided we would want to leave, then we would talk about it and we would let them know, so. And I would request, if you approve it, I'll do the formal motion for signature authority and I'll sign and send it in if you guys want to do it. So. And what other questions do you have, if you have any?
I know that some of the concerns, I know that of the employees being paid directly, that do they actually,
Mm-hmm. Which some of that's self-responsibility, but I just think it's an unnecessary step to have to go, sign over, cash that check and send, it's just cleaner in my opinion if it's paid right to the vendor, then there's no question. It's going right to the provider, and I think the level of detail in their online system and the employee plus Katie, and I assume maybe myself, but mostly Katie and the employee would have access to, if there are discrepancies, questions, she's gonna be able to jump right in there and help them out versus right now, there's kind of a lag in that.
we have had some issues come up in the past that we've had to make concessions for with an employee getting paid directly. So, I mean, yeah, I get it.
That was workman's comp, but,
Yeah.
Either way, I just don't think it's the best practice, and I thought it was, and the reason Katie said we haven't heard complaints about claims processing is because you guys gave the permission for employees to be able to get get paid directly for this year, so that would be why there's not complaints, because people are getting the money and, assumably paying the vendor, but it's just cleaner if we have a system where the vendors get paid directly, in my opinion.
Alrighty. Do you need a clause in this that, either party can opt out within X
I'm
many
sure
days?
Katie would add whatever you guys would be comfortable
Well,
with.
I think that would be smart.
Okay. And if you give me the signature authority, I'll make sure it's on, I trust Katie, she's working on our behalf, she'll do whatever we want, so.
Alright. Any thoughts?
No, it's just more money, but I agree though, it'll make it simpler.
Yeah, smoother,
Cleaner.
yeah, okay. Well, I'll make a motion that we go ahead and go with this Axion.
Obedient, I guess, that's what I was calling it.
Axion, okay,
Yep. Yep.
alright,
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
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 Now, do you need a,
signature on that probably, won't you?
Yeah, I may,
do you want the,
It's usually the chairman's
Authority to go
signature when we
ahead.
do those.
that's what I was thinking, or could you give me the authority to do it and I'll get that clause added, then I don't have to track y'all down?
I'll make that part of my motion.
And authorize Kirsten to.
Is that okay?
That's fairly
All
common.
right, with you, Gary?
Yep.
Awesome, so then I'll make sure I get, I'll double check the exit clause, make sure it's agreeable, and then
Good.
I'll get these over and we'll get stuff rocking and rolling, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Are we gonna have an expiration date on this at all?
No. Well, just to opt out.
Just
Yeah.
an opt-out, yeah.
I'm gonna leave it open-ended.
Call.
The opt-out would only be as if we run into issues, and so far there have been 0 issues per Katie, and like I said, I believe what she tells me, so.
I think it's wise in any contract to have a
Yep.
back door.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kristen.
So what?
Let's move on.
Sheriff,
Hi there.
let's hear more.
It's all their documents. If you want
Read them off in order, Haley.
Well, I'm passing the resolution around.
Oh, all right.
So those are the resolutions that they might amend and where I've marked it, so you can take one and pass those. The rest of their stuff.
Is this to remove training wage for part-timers?
Yes.
Explain, please.
The beginning wage for jailers or dispatchers is $17.91 an hour. Under this current resolution that we're operating on right now, if I hire someone off the street, they begin at $2 an hour less than the beginning or the starting wage. So I bring someone off the street to hire them as a jailer or dispatcher. I can only pay them $15.91 an hour until they've completed and have been fully trained. So it's a competition with McDonald's.
How long does it take to complete the training?
Usually, they can have it done within 120 days, except for, a lot of that depends on when we can get them. For dispatchers, they have to go to the Iowa Law Enforcement Academy 40-hour telecommunicator course within the first year of employment. And for jailers, they have to attend the 40-hour jail school. So a lot of it depends on scheduling with the state.
I do understand the
Theory
theory,
with this.
and I don't have a problem, but, you know, the thing you've got is, once you have trained somebody, they have a skill set. You know, whether it's a jailer or a communication specialist, and they can go elsewhere or come up the ladder, etc. You know, it's not somebody flipping burgers or punch the cash register. You know, that's, yes, it has training, but maybe not the skill set at the end of 6 months, obviously, so.
You gotta wait till the burger's done before you put
I
it
know.
on one side.
It just makes a difference when we're offering people jobs, and we have to tell them what the starting wage would be.
I bet you're having trouble getting people, aren't you?
We are.
Everybody is.
Not just
You guys,
Oh, I know.
yeah, and it's compensation. I mean, sign out Quick Start yesterday, $13 to start, $2 for shift differential, $15. So, yeah, and they've got a training period too, I'm sure, but I understand that you're competing. So, yeah. So we have one of two to pick from, right?
Yes.
Okay,
That's why I asked Haley to put the resolution on first.
Yeah, so we have to amend the resolution to change the resolution, or we have to adopt a new one to amend it. So,
Well, how about we do this one first? Let them guys look at it, but Steve Fish, security. That one you ain't changing, right? So let them guys look at it a second.
It'll affect my resolution numbers, that's why I'll wait till number them, so, and that'll be by resolution.
Yep. Rick look at it. That one ain't gonna change regardless.
Okay.
We were trying to
So
cover
moved.
the courthouse with part-time people.
And I would second the hiring of
Okay,
Steve Fish.
You don't get
Fish.
as many hours though.
okay, by resolution, right?
Jeff is
Primer aye.
not the one.
Is this
Yeah,
by
he's-
resolution?
Beer Shank aye.
This,
Yeah, when we hire full-time, it's by resolution.
Okay, Primer aye.
Beer Shank aye.
Seaman, aye. Initial this one too,
Yeah, please.
all three,
Just one is fine, just for the file.
okay?
All right, so basically, this resolution, you're just gonna take out, for the most part,
Where I have
item 4 and 5. Yeah. Okay. I don't have a problem with that.
My question is, can I get your initial back down? Would it be smart? I know it's a lot of paperwork for the girls. To start them off like it has in the past, but if they go 30 days, give them $1, 75,
Like the longevity.
you know what I mean? They go 60 days, give them $1 and a half, I mean, you know what I mean? It's, cause if somebody don't like the job, they're gonna know within 4 or 5 days, right?
Or sooner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know that that's gonna
I don't know if that'll help.
accomplish what they're looking to get done.
Yeah, we're looking to,
To sell the position
yeah.
and the starting wage.
Just a thought.
And those are good, stable jobs with
Well-
full-time benefits.
Well, what we still are doing, we are, all jailers and dispatchers are hired as part-time to begin with. We hire them all as part-time, and they remain part-time until they're fully trained. Once they're fully trained, then we transition them to full-time.
And that's when the benefits kick in then.
That's when the benefits kick in.
Okay.
So that gives us flexibility if this person is not working out, they're not catching up quickly, they're not figuring it out, we're not putting them on as
Okay.
full-time.
That helps me decide.
You know, the way secondary roads have the same issue hiring people, and it's all in compensation. Yes, it's, the benefits are great.
Once you get them.
Once you get them, and to have the IPers is fantastic, but when you're in your young 20 years of
They
age,
don't look at that IPers.
they don't really look at it, because that's never land. It's not, it's, yeah. So, I don't have a problem amending this resolution to strike that out. And so, I'd make that motion that we do that. Remove item 4 and 5 from that.
Do you wanna remove it permanently? Or do you wanna remove it,
Temporary.
put a timeline, yeah, a year, 2 years? And if the economy picks up where they can pick and choose,
Or you just amend it again.
you know what I mean?
Then we could go back and amend it again if we needed to.
Or start with a brand new one like I told John and clean it up totally.
Yeah. Because that's been,
Just throwing it out.
Quite honestly, I think if you put a timeline on it, a year from now, they'll forget all about it.
yeah.
You know, honestly.
Nancy will
I-
remind you.
You know, I really think so. So, I think just chuck it out the door, and if they need to, come back and rewrite it.
Okay.
And
What,
again, we're having problems hiring people. We heard Myron last week. He said he hasn't had as many applicants as he would like. I think he said 0. He had 3 at this time. Yeah. So,
what's he hiring?
secondary roads.
Maintainers?
maintainers and snowplow truck drivers, he needs
Yeah.
5 or 6.
Yeah, you gotta have
He
bodies,
needs.
yeah. It's not just to run the graders.
No,
I mean, those are more experienced people, so, yeah. So yeah, take it out. That's
Okay.
what I think.
make a,
I did.
okay,
I'll second it.
all right, all in favor of taking out the requirements on the resolution of 1814 for the training wage?
Aye.
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 And you gotta vote, because it's a resolution.
Okay.
Primer, aye.
Beershank, aye.
Seaman, aye.
They'll make the motion that we hire, is it Ashland Trunkhill?
Ashley,
Ashley, okay, and,
Zachary Iser?
yes.
okay,
Second.
Did you wanna say their starting wage too?
it is $17.91 per hour.
By
This is for
resolution.
Correction officer.
No, this one isn't if they're part-time, sorry. It's
Oh,
just-
not resolution.
Okay,
Not a resolution. All right.
so you're calling for a vote?
Yes, I am.
All right, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Got it?
Yeah,
Do you need this initialed by Tracy?
yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen. It's not a lot, but this whole wage discussion, the amount of overtime we're having to spend right now is costing us more than what increasing a training wage would do. And then we're hitting the point where
That's
employees are
the
being
cheap
so overworked, and they're having to work so many hours, they're getting really hateful.
The resolution.
Kind of burnt out.
You
know-
know, we sign that one.
You should have been.
Oh,
here
no,
for
that's
months.
just
No.
kinda for us to get it on the agenda.
You know,
You
that
got a copy
overworking
of
people
the-
isn't good long-term.
We're working them to death.
It's not good long-term.
A lot of things surface yesterday,
I'll bet.
We're
across the board.
finding
On
stuff that
Monday.
it's coming back from last winter now.
Because these folks are all in a position where they absolutely cannot work from home.
Mhm.
Can't run a jail from home.
Can't just close the door and leave.
Oh, gosh, no.
Do you fellas have
We
anything
probably
else?
could give them to answer 911 from home.
Yeah, no, we'd be on CNN.
You guys watch that?
That's the way we
There's
used
a
to,
new movie on
that's the way it
Netflix
was
you
done
gotta
30
watch.
years ago.
It's about a dispatcher.
Longer than that, but you're close.
I think that's it for you guys, right?
Yes.
I'd like to visit with you after the meeting, if I could, please.
All right. Number 9, discuss and approve engagement letter with DA Davidson.
And I emailed you all those things. This was on last week, but we waited. So
Yes.
that was Nathan Summers.
Mhm.
So, if you guys are in agreement, you wanna sign this, I have it here ready for you.
I don't have any questions on it. Read it
You said
over.
1.5%.
That's 100%. Plus,
Yeah, it's listed in here.
on the principal amount, in addition, there's an underwriting fee. Issuer shall be paid to Davidson a fee equal to 2,500 as compensation. And I think they get all other expenses reimbursed.
The only difference is this bond versus the one we did for this building, we did not use this
Sure.
company, but we used Dorsey and Whitney. So since this was a little bit different scenario
Sure.
with the public hearings and different,
Yeah.
different, bigger amount,
I
I
mean,
think it's a
it's
good idea to use them, so.
Okay.
kind of over the barrel.
They really help us out as well, make sure we, you know,
I know.
do all
It's
our
done.
cross checks
Yeah, T's crossed, I's dotted.
perfectly, you know, the documents, they'll send examples and then we tweak them,
Yeah.
so.
So you need a motion to approve the engagement letter, or the engagement of.
Yep, with
Okay.
DA Davidson.
You got it?
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Here's that one, if you wanna sign my copy, and then I'll get these also. So then the other engagement letter we have would be, it's actually, you'll be authorizing my signature on it to Dorsey and Whitney. And that is talking about their cost will not exceed 23,000. I think it depends on the amount we actually bond for. And they help with getting the bank all that information too, so. If you guys wanna look at that, I think you guys got all these by email as well, but
Yeah, I printed them off.
yeah. And this one you'd be approving and authorizing my signature.
I'll let you look at it. You might, you know.
Yeah, they did.
I got too many R's in there.
What's that?
I got too many R's in supervisor on that.
They do?
I do.
Oh. That's okay. You're superior.
I'm sure they'll cash the check.
And their compensation is based upon the actual amount that we bond.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
and we usually won't get billed till that at the
Right.
end, so. I don't know if they'll do it since we might do this, how long we're gonna spread it out, I'm not sure if they'll want to retain anything, I don't.
See, I haven't looked at it. I looked at it at home last week when you sent it out, and then Rick gave me his copy this morning. I forgot mine.
and you are correct, Haley, I did not do my math quite right last week.
Yeah, you spoke a little high, so I didn't want
Yeah.
the taxpayers to think it was really gonna be that high.
Yeah,
You have to
yeah.
divide it by 1,000.
Yeah, it would come down, yeah, dramatically, whereas
And that's,
said
a lot of
about
people don't understand the
450,
levies.
about 45.
Yeah, it's per 1,000, so you
Right.
always divide it by 1,000.
I stand corrected, thank you.
Yep.
So,
Just didn't want, yeah, like I said, somebody to really think we're gonna charge them.
Yeah, no, I
get it, I get it, yeah.
Okay, do I have a motion for the Dorsey
And Whitney
Bond Council?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Second.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I signed that one myself, so.
You want these back?
Okay, so then the next step would be you guys would be discussing this resolution. You have to adopt a resolution to set the public hearing date, which I would like it to be October 19th at 9:30 in the morning for the purpose of instituting proceedings and taking action to enter into the loan agreement and borrowing money in an amount not to exceed $8,250,000 for the purpose of paying the cost to that extent of improving and equipping emergency communication systems. And then it's pursuant to Iowa codes 331.402 and 331.441 2B17.
So moved.
And it's by resolution too, so.
And I will not be here on the 19th.
Okay, would you be willing to call in for that portion of it maybe? If not,
I can try,
okay. I mean,
okay?
as long as we have the two.
Knowing where I'm going to be,
And-
I can try, but
Basically, at that hearing too, you're just, once that notice
I
today,
know.
you guys are authorizing me to publish in the paper,
yeah.
and then we have to
it's-
hear comments.
It's a formality.
Yeah.
I get it. So, I second his
Okay,
motion, so. And this is by resolution?
Yep,
by
yep.
Primer,
setting the
aye.
date.
Beer shank eye.
And that was also to authorize that notice to go in the paper too.
Yes,
Seaman aye for October 19th at 9:30.
Yes, yep,
Got it.
okay. So
I
I'll
shall
get
try
that
to call
notice
in.
sent out, and then I think that'll give authority then for them to move forward with Raycom, right? Too, some of that. I know Scott's been talking to him, so. And then you gotta get the tower contract, right? That'll be your first step.
That seems like an awful lot
So-
of money.
We'll talk about the other stuff till we get the first step.
Yeah, that tower is the next step.
Number 12, discuss cement work for transportation building and parking lot for service center.
Oh yeah, that was part of the amendment too, remember?
Yeah,
Did you get
so
any?
You had estimates?
I did not get estimate, but I will get it either Wednesday or Thursday for the asphalt.
For asphalt?
Yes,
Okay.
so I'll get an exact dollar amount. I'm supposed to meet with the company from Independence. He said either Wednesday or Thursday. I'll have
For
to make it-
asphalt?
Yes, yes.
And you're working on a concrete estimate
Yes,
as well?
yes. You know, I want a ballpark figure so we can compare apples
Okay.
to apples.
So this is something we're basically gonna
Table
table.
till next week, yep.
All right.
Okay, so is there anything else while we're on next week's agenda that we have tabled and wanna do anything with?
No, not to my knowledge.
Are we
at
ready
this
for that
time.
resolution yet? For your Second Amendment thing? Is that going back
No.
on?
Well,
I thought you told me this week and then I forgot to ask you.
I didn't, no.
Okay.
I
So I'm
haven't
just-
talked to- I haven't talked to everybody here yet.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
I'll
just
leave all
wait
that on the back
just
burner.
wait
I
on
knew you
that,
mentioned
yeah.
it, but I wasn't sure.
Wait on that.
I'm just trying to make sure I stay on top of everything. 'Cause
Yep,
a
you're
lot
doing
going on
good.
right now.
I've had a
You're
lot of
doing
public
good.
comment.
I have two,
Okay, so transportation bids, I'll put back on.
yeah. Cause like I said, I wanna get a price between asphalt. The guy, I told him, I said, this used to be oiled and chipped, which you can see it out here. He suggested it only have to be 3 inches thick, the asphalt, so. And he said that'll last for 20 years, you won't have to touch it. So like I said, now I'm curious, what's the price
Sure.
difference?
Sure.
Concrete, yes, it'll last a lot longer.
And just, and has he come up and looked at it?
No, I'm supposed to meet with him tomorrow or
Okay.
Thursday.
My concern is as you get towards the north end, there's been so many potholes, et cetera, so. yeah.
So that's why he wants to actually physically come and look at
So
it.
you're talking this portion too?
This here for right now.
Okay, so then I should word it as the service center, not
Yeah,
transportation.
yes, correct. Correct.
Another
Good.
thing to be thinking of too,
Be-
we got Taylor Township trustee, we might have to
I
appoint because
know
they
it, I
missed
know
their
it.
deadline.
I know it, I know it.
So that would fall back on you guys, and I don't know on the other one, it's the Brecht. We gotta get that.
I don't
one.
know either, I haven't talked to them guys yet either.
Because budget time is where my
Yep.
concern is they have to start meeting to
Yep.
start doing their budgets.
Yep, 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 yep.
So just don't be forgetting that one.
Yeah,
Start recruiting.
okay. All right, reports.
Got him coming up. Mine
I
kinda
had-
hit me all at once.
I had the Eastern Iowa Housing Trust Fund Thursday.
Mhm.
Lot going on. Getting more money in to fix houses. I forgot all that. I printed off about half a tree on Thursday for the meetings. I was always gonna bring it up here and let you guys look at it. I mean, it's just astronomical. Quite a few houses they have fixed, help pay for here in Benton County, you know, brought them
Mhm.
better shape. Easy Cog. Same old, I guess, to report on them. So.
Okay.
All right. Do I
Anything
have-
else?
Nope, motion
To adjourn? I'll make that motion.
Second.